Hey, here we go. Nice, everything should be fine here. Just checking a few things. Yep. Guess we're good. Yes, we are up and we are running. Nice. Welcome everybody. This is Marcelo, your friendly community manager for Skyweaver and Horizon, and here we are. The big day, right? Chunky patch, meaty patch. We've been working hard since the last big content patch that happened in the end of 2019, right? We had the marketplace, everything. So yeah, we've been working, all right. As you can see, lots of improvements and interesting things for you, and here we are for a big one today. So this is another good step in the direction of the open beta, right? It's something that we wanted to share with you guys for the longest time. We always felt that the game was incomplete with just 4 prisms. And Intellect is here, right? So it's 100 cards, so prepare yourselves, get some snacks, hydrate yourselves, you especially Worfs, don't go have a stroke on me, and we'll go through the cards and we'll go through some of the other things that are happening here, and they will definitely place us closer to the open beta. All right, so what we have now, it's the preseason, right? So we are about 8 months into the closed beta, and a lot was done, and the ranking, the leaderboards were a bit stagnant because we were doing a lot of things under the hood, preparing the ground and everything else. So now we are tidying up a few of the things that you want to see for the open beta, and we'll also go into the rewards that the players will be getting for helping us test the game. This is something that was asked millions of times on Discord, Reddit, and Twitter, and Facebook, and etc. So hey Ron, you made it, man. Welcome, and welcome to the rest of the gang. All right, everybody, super nice to see you guys. So yeah. So first, let's read here what we have about the preseason, right? So this is kicking in later on March, and we'll be having, of course, first Intellect with 5 no heroes, 2 of those are here, and 100 no cards. Excuse me. So that's one of the big things that will be the trigger for the preseason, right? And hey, Zygon is here too. It's the mastermind of Intellect, so let's give a shout out to John. John and Coulter have been doing a great job designing the game, making the game fun and interesting, and I can't thank them enough. Biggest brain in the chat, absolutely. That's no questions about that. So there we go. Yeah, we always have this problem, right? Because we have the Twitch names, the Discord names, and then the Skyweaver names. Sometimes they don't they don't mix very well. So if you're talking in the chat, please identify yourselves, all right? So we all know who we are talking to. I know most of you, but some others might not. All right. So yeah, let's see what we have here. The 2 things that are most relevant for the preseason. First, Intellect. We'll go through that in a bit, right? Some of those cards I've teased yesterday. So, like Supermind, and I believe that's it, right? I don't think any other of those here were teased. I had Nakamoto, but it's not here. Yeah. So there we go. And the other thing is about the 1,000 players that will receive the special Skyweaver beta tester cards, right? So let's go through that. So first of all, no prism, Intellect, Here we have some of the cards for the new heroes. So, alright, some very familiar faces, alright, for our veterans here. So yes, Cubeman is making a comeback. And yes, exactly. It was my favorite hero for the longest time, and now he's making a comeback, so I'm super stoked. And we have Loki, which is the single, the Mono Prism, and we have the other heroes. The Mecha Hindu girl here is also super awesome. And we have two more. I will share them. You have probably seen that if you have been following my live streams in the past. So there's that. So we have now the opposition is complete now. We have the Sphere Boy and Cube Man. Everything is as it should be. Okay. So when the preseason, alright? Yeah. This is not the accurate date. Okay? So relax. So Intellectual should be coming tomorrow, as you will see in the patch notes, right? So yeah. Lower the pitchforks, everything's fine. What's also happening for the leaderboard is that we'll have a reset, and everything will be wiped. So we reorganize the competition and make things a bit more interesting once again, right? We were stagnant because, of course, this is a beta and we had other priorities, but now we should be going into a certain rhythm of leaderboards and stuff like that. So there we go. And let's see what we have here. Then, behold, this is the reward that you guys are gonna get. Alright, the gold cards. This is something that was teased, if you were paying attention in between the lines. So if you have been paying attention, some of you might have identified that we were talking about this. And they are cards that will have a limited supply, right? While the silver cards, they have an unlimited supply. They will always be available. You can always go there and pay $1 or $2 depending on the final price. The rest, gold cards are not, right? They're created more or less on demand. We'll explain a bit more how you'll be able to mint those. They are mintable, so this is also important. Sorry. And they are tradable, of course, like silver cards, but they are limited in supply, alright? So they will be much rarer, and they will have the collectible value that some of the community would love to have, right? Again, they follow the same rules. If you have a gold card, it's exactly the same card in function. So, no, yeah, your gold Doom Shroom will not deal 5 wither damage to everybody in the next 4 games, right? No, that's not what's gonna happen, right? It's the same effect, same stats, but it's a rarer version of the Doom Shroom, right? Eventually, also, we can have alternate versions of those silvers and goldens into special community cards with different art, maybe animation and stuff like that, but that's for later on. Let's focus now here on the gold cards. Yeah, people are definitely going to corner the Clawbear gold market, absolutely. So, oh yeah, absolutely, the Golden Angelo for Brosaurus is a must. Alright, so we'll go into more detail about those as we move forward, okay? Alright, so yeah, we have here our 5 current top constructed and 5 top discovery players as of February 28th, right? So one important thing is that no, Zygon and Coulter and myself and Philippe, we will not get gold cards, alright? Gold cards, they are for the community, not us, right? So don't worry, we won't be occupying those 500. Sorry, John was super stoked about his gold card, but we'll have to do some other way. But yeah, this is something that I was discussing, and I don't think it's fair, right? Because again, we work for the game, and we play a lot, and we have internal access to everything, and etc. So it's not fair competition. So those our names, our accounts will be excluded, and then just you guys, right? So my pro tip for you guys right now: you will only get those if you're Archon up. All right, so that's an important distinction, right? So a single game in Constructed won't be enough to net you a gold card, right? You have to reach at least Archon, right? Right now, I believe you have 125 eligible people in Constructed, all right? And for Discovery, yeah, we have a ton. So there you have it. Yeah, right now I think there's again this is like a week old, so I'm sure Hypo was wailing on everybody else in this period of time. So there we go. Top 5 Horizon team get a pay rise. Absolutely. John and Coulter will definitely get extra money if that's the rule here. I'm not. I'm just a Discovery newbie. Shame on me. All right. I'm not part of the Constructed Elite. Okay, so I think this is super exciting. Again, we'll have a FAQ about the preseason with more information. And we'll be there on Discord to chat with you guys. So don't worry about too much. All right, it's basically we want to make something that's fun and fair, and that validates the effort that you guys have been pouring onto the game, right? So it's our way of saying thank you, all right? So I hope you appreciate that. And personally, I want to do something else for you guys that were testing the game. I want to try to get you something extra, a little extra goodie, but that's in the future, right? It probably won't kick in during the open beta. But I don't know. You might have another surprise as we move forward here. We must seize the means of Constructed from the elites. Now we have started the Skyweaver Marxism. Yes, exactly. That's a good thing. Let's socialize our gold cards here. Alright. So there's that. Okay? So this is the announcement for the preseason. So the main two things is that we have the reset, and then we have intellect coming, which brings us to this week's patch. All right, and take a comfortable seat, all right, because we're gonna stay here for some minutes. I'll try to go quickly, right, because I don't want to bore everybody to death. But again, it's a big one, and I'm sure all of you are very interested in seeing the new evil things that you'll be able to do when Intellect goes live, all right? So our Hero Academia, it's patch number 38, and it's the Intellect patch, okay? So, yeah, so if you're going to stick around here, fair warning, almost 200 cards to review. So yeah, I think it would be cool maybe to start, this is an interesting improvement, right? And this is something that we were discussing internally for a while. Now that we have some mechanics that will reveal enemy cards, how do we do that with the current system, right? So now you'll be able to see the cards upside down in the enemy's hand if you have an effect that would reveal enemy cards, right? Yes, we have the technology, it's coming, all right? So again, this is a preliminary feature, and let's see if it works out or not. You guys let us know what you think about it, right? So yeah, but the big brains in the Intellect deck will be doing a lot of probing, all right? The nice way. Some crash issues that we were facing regarding Spire effects and cards returning to hand and stuff like that were identified and fixed. So let's hope this will help diminish the number of crashes some people were seeing. Head case now should work normally, right? It's not borked anymore. Alright, so let's see here. Let's start then with the removed cards. Usually we had... yeah, good clarification there by Philippe. Yeah, I might have misspoken that in relation to Archon and stuff like that. Yeah, so there we go. Removed cards. We have King Rex. That's it. All right. You were so used seeing cards being removed in the last few patches. Okay, it's a very simple one. So now, boom. Let's drop the intellect bomb here. Press F for the king. We have Mechabon, our first intellect card here. All right. So armor, and as you summon, draws a metal unit for you, which is always a very good effect. So nice way of training metal cards for you. Relatively low cost and lovely illustration. I really like it. Dream Dragon, again, coming back with removed last patch, I think. So he's making a comeback here. Now as Wisdom. So 6/5/5, guard, and gets +1/+2 when returned to your deck. So depending on your shenanigans, and if you can put it back to your deck, you can have a pretty beefy Dream Dragon as you go on. Okay. Yeah, definitely Mechabon is a very good tutor. So another oldie is Call to Mind. I believe that it was renamed, right? I'm not sure that it was always by this name. I might be wrong here. So Wisdom and X cost, you pay everything that you have in your mana pool and you draw a spell onto your hero with that cost or less and make it 0 cost. So you pay the cost up front, you draw your most expensive spell onto your hero. Okay, so again, nice way of drawing the big ones. All right, yeah, I knew somebody would instantly shout about Ant Whale and Int Whale now. So Nakamoto, all right, you guys love Nakamoto. Hey, Sir Mata, nice that you're following us now. Welcome. And Nakamoto, intellect unit, 3 cost for 4, and when you summon him, you dust your deck and you give your hero that much health. So in the beginning of if you do that turn 1, enjoy. Alright, you have 30, 29 maybe, I don't know. You have 26 extra health to play along. Alright, so you'd better make good use of them. Then we go to a spell, Heart Identity Crisis, making a comeback. So you give a target unit -2 power and swap power and health. If that would bring it to 0 health, you dust the card, right? So it's a nice way of dusting if done correctly. It's also relatively cheap, right? At 2 cost. Love me some Puppeteer, right? 5, yeah, I love the R2 here, definitely. I think because Intellect is a newer prism, a lot of the artwork is a bit more mature than the first cards that we started way back when in the original prisms. So I think that it looks vibrant and more interesting, I would say, even. Right? So yeah, let's see. It's hard, yeah. This is hard, absolutely. So okay, so Puppeteer. I love this illustration here. So it's a stealth card, 5 cost, 2/3, and when you summon him, you draw a guard unit into play as 1/1 armor. So it's an interesting way of training, tutoring cards into game if you know what you're doing, right? If you play your guard game smartly, you might be able to do a lot of good work here with Puppeteer. Oh no, Philippe, that was terrible. Interesting. Oh no. We have a winner. Grime is also making a comeback. A bit of a rework. It comes with our amazing Earth buff here. And one cost, 1/2, alright, so it's made for buffing. There we go. And Leonidas, not Leonidas, it's agility, comes with zap, 5, cost, 5 power, 3 health. It's an armor unit that when another human is summoned, you give Leonidas another zap. So it's an interesting way to keep the zap going without being too exploitative, right? But yeah, imagine that if you have a ton of cheap cards in your hand, you can do some nasty zapping if you play it smart. Okay, the cube. We have the doubling cube. Intellect, of course. 2 cost spell, and you draw a mind spell, and you give your hero a copy of that. So, big plays, big head plays here. Bubbles. A lot of intellect cards, they have a nice focus on mind and water, which is cool. Alright, so we have bubbles here that come with the healthy vapors. And whenever you get a water card, you have the Inspire Water, it gets +1 health. So bubbles can eventually become a big boy if you play yourself. If you play your water cards correctly here. That's pretty exciting. I like this kind of stuff. And it's a guard, which is always a good thing. Okay, so what else? We have Bobble. Sorry. It's another 1 cost intellect unit with stealth, and as you summon it, you draw your cheapest air spell onto this unit. So Bobble will tutor your cheapest air spells. It's a nice way also to do some nasty things if you play it right. And I like the stats, and I like the fact that it has stealth, so it can be pretty annoying. Yeah, I really like the art here. Yeah, you'll see that intellect, it's not an accident, it's very good at tutoring cards, right? So for you constructed demons, fiends, it's gonna be a nice change. Then we have the 6 cost spell here, also intellect, manage memory. So we dust your top 4 dead spells, and then you return your top 4 dead spells to your hand. So you have to look at your graveyard very carefully here, but wow, it's a pretty nasty way of bringing back some spells to life. So just be mindful. Don't dust things that you shouldn't. And then we have Dual Boot, another intellect spell costing 4. You draw a unit and you summon a 2/2 guard copy of it. So nice way of letting your opponent know what you have, right? Because of the summoned copy. But yeah, very reasonable cost. I think that for 2 creatures, it's a very, very fair trade-off. Hey, Frechan. Yeah, we are good. We are right in the middle of intellect cards here that will come tomorrow, and I'll do a recap when we finish the stream here for everybody that got here later on. Don't worry. Okay, teleport, right? Of course, it had to be intellect, costing 1. You draw a 2-cost unit into play and you give it dazed, right? So you won't be able to super abuse its attachments, but depending on the card, you can do some interesting things here. Then we have Blaze. Blaze, a bit of a chunkier, interesting summon effect. So fire card, intellect, 5 cost, comes with the burnout, which is wild, and 2/3 wither, which is cool. And when you summon it, it gives flames to characters without attachments, right? So it's a nice way of spreading some flames if you play it right. Alright. I know it's saying that intellect sounds kind of like heart so far. Yeah, I think it's a bit different, right? I think intellect tutoring is definitely on the up and up, and it might be the best drawing prism that we have so far. I might be wrong. I gotta check that, but it feels that it's very good at drawing cards. Alright. Yeah, Ron made a good point there. Also, the heart is more of a graveyard than he'll play, and it got a lot of more banner. Yeah, we haven't seen any banner in intellects here so far. So we have another unit here, 2 Ghost Duster. I think you might be able to remember this one from a few patches ago. Yeah, so 2 cost, 1/3 with armor, so very solid stats and very good keyword. And when you summon it, dust atop that enemy unit to draw a spell of its element onto this unit. So Ghost Duster is the complete package, right? So you can mess around with the enemy's graveyard, you can tutor spells if you're smart, and you can play it right in the beginning of the game, and it's pretty beefy for what it is, right? 1/3 with armor, it's pretty pesky. So there we have the Vial Vendor. Alright, so we had the Potion Seller, he's not alone anymore, now we have the Vial Vendor. So the 3 cost intellect spell, 3/3, so decent stats for a 3 cost. And when you summon, both players draw 1 cost spells onto their units. Alright, so their units. So it's the mass spell bonanza here. So that should be pretty cool. And yeah, it's definitely a troll card, and the face doesn't leave anything to be desired here. So I really like it. Really like this one. A light, again making the comeback here. Some of you might remember this one. Intellect spell costing 1, light, draw and reveal a light card, and then reveal the enemy hand. So here we have the reveal game coming into play here. So that's a nice way of checking what's going on with your enemy's hand. Keep that in mind. I think it's super cheap, right? The whole hand. Yes, exactly. I can see this one being nerfed next week. Super Mind coming into play here. You guys know this one. 3 cost, 1 power, 4 health. And Inspire Mind, give random enemy dazed, right? So whenever you play a mind effect, somebody will get dazed. Also super trollish, decent health, so you might be able to really keep this unit into the game for a few matches, and if you're playing a mind deck, it can be a pain in the ass. And the teleport, yeah, good call. So Burner, love this illustration here also. 5 cost, 4/3, and comes with armor, and the Sick Burn and Inspire Fire, give flames to a random enemy. So pretty much the same thing that's happening here with Super Mind, but with fire and flame instead of mind and dazed, right? So it will be a very nice way to keep flaming everybody, especially now that flames, they don't wither anybody. So yeah, a good thing. Very solid stats, right? Especially considering the cost and stuff like that. This is a good card here. Then we have Illusion, spell intellect costing 3. You summon a copy of a target ally unit as a 2/2 with barrier. Alright, so there we go. Philip saying here that for viewers, don't forget that give X to a random enemy focuses on unit first. That doesn't have X yet. Yeah, this is a good point. The Mad Hat. The Mad Hat's making a comeback now at intellect. So 2/2/2, Wither, and when you play it, a target draws a mind spell onto itself. So it's a nice way of doing the mind tutoring game here. Nice. Beat. I hate Beat with all my heart, and I lost many a game because of Beat, and now it's making a comeback at the intellect 4, 2/8, and at every sunrise it swaps power and health. So when it's ready to attack, it will be a 8/2 if nothing happens. So it's pretty nasty. Yeah, it's the same. Absolutely, just moved to intellect. I believe it was hard before, and I'm not sure it was metal. Okay, so defragment. Okay, so good old illustration, a bit reworked. 4 cost, target unit loses power and health equal to its cost. So the more expensive the unit is, the more power and health it's gonna lose. Okay, now an agility card here with Harvest Season, costing 3, spell, mulligan your hand and get 1 mana for each card in your hand. So it's a very good boost. If you have a lot of cards in your hand, you will of course mulligan everything. You might not get what you want depending on what happens, but you can have upwards of 9 extra mana to play with, which can be pretty potent here. And Shade. Shade comes again with a Fate. It's a 1 cost heart unit with 1/3, and as you play it, it copies target unit's element. So you can play around with the elements, and you get something else when it dies due to the Fate. Yeah, I really like this one. And again, it comes for the best prism that we all know it's heart, right? So some heart love. And it's a good way to prepare for the future, right? In which I believe elemental decks will be much more prevalent. So being able to play around with the elements might be quite a big deal as we move forward. So that's cool. Then we have Wisdom here with the Firefox. Super nice illustration here. And costing 2, 3, and Lifesteal. And it comes with the Flame Blade. 5 cost. Spell here in Anchor drop, also for intellect. Has a -1 cost for each water card in your grave. So it does 5 damage to target unit. So mid-game upwards, this can be pretty much free. So it's a nice 5 damage Anchor drop on top of somebody's head. Unit, right? So you won't be slamming any hero with the Anchor. So Cube Jr. See, we have the Cube family starting here. Cube Man, Sphere Boy, and now Cube Jr. 2 cost, 2/2 with a banner. I think it was the first intellect banner card that we have, and gives your hero lifesteal while it's on play. So can be pretty strategic if you give yourself a temporary or eventually permanent attack boost to your hero. So keep that in mind. Then we have Coaldozer, costing 3, intellect again, unit, inspire 1 cost, it gets +1/+1. So you all love the value that the 1 cost cards give you, so you can do a lot of good work with Coaldozer here. Whenever you play them, the dozer will get stronger. That's pretty cool. So we have Sparky coming back from the shadows into intellect. It has the lightning vial, costing 3, 2 attack, 2 power, 4 health with lifesteal, and your spells also have lifesteal. So also a nice way to manipulate spell damage into lifestealing. Then Zapper. Zapper is an old favorite, right? Metal, a unit, 2 cost intellect with armor. Inspire metal, get zap. Very simple. You play metal, you get zap. That's the ticket here. Extinction Event is coming back in intellect, costing 6. Do damage to its unit equal to its cost, so as it was before. And Zam, alright. Zam has done a bit of tattoo work here. And an old favorite, super pesky, and can win games by itself if left unchecked. Costing 7, 2, 6 with lifesteal. So inspire spell, you do 2 damage to a random enemy. So with the generation of zaps that we have in some other cards here, this can be disastrous, right? So keep that in mind. At least now the zaps, they don't be there anymore, because when Zam was prevalent, they did. So it was pretty nasty. Mirror Mind. It's 2 cost. This is another card that was renamed. 2/2/2. A stealth unit, inspire spell. Does this unit to give your hero a copy of the spell with +1 cost. I like this one. I really like this one. There are a lot of possibilities here that can be exploited and constructed. That's really, really cool. Flame Noble, Wisdom. It comes with the old dual flames that were renamed last patch. I don't remember right now the name. So costing 3, 2 power, 4 health, and Wither. Fair enough. Bloom Garden, another 2 cost spell here. Earth, I believe it's maybe the first Earth intellect card. I might be wrong. So you summon 2 Elder World with Animosity. Let's check this later on. Alright. Oh yeah, Animosity equals Inner Beast, as Zygon is mentioning here on the chat. So potentially 2 disastrous little Elderwoods can become 2/3, 2/3. Chainstorm, Intellect Metal, costing 3. It's a Wither spell also, which will give each unit chains. Each unit, okay, so keep that in mind. Might be bad for you. And it does also 1 damage to each unit after the chain. So it's a good way to deal with armor units. So it will chain the armor away and then plink those units with 1 Wither damage. So it's a very nice way to deal with strength, for instance, right? It's an answer. Orion, nice, also making a comeback with its beautiful art, costing 6, 3/3. Armor and lifesteal, comes with the Trinity Link, and as you summon, you make another ally, make all other ally units 3/3. So it's a very nice way of aggroing and ramping up cheap weak units, right? So if you have all those birds, the other woods and stuff like that, you can do some funky things with as well. Alright, Glacier is also making a comeback, so it comes frozen as usual. So the 3 cost, 2/6 with guard, and when Glacier dies, all enemy units are frozen also. It's a very, very nasty trade-off. The Defrost, this illustration here, you guys will certainly remember it. Costing 3, banner, another banner card for intellect, the second one. So it will give enemy units -2 power, and it will give your hero the vapors. So the healthy vapors will go into your hero. Nice. It's maybe a nice way to remove a flame or something like that from your hero. And everybody will get -2 power, which is pretty strong. Cryogen, good old ice dragon that we had. 8 cost, intellect, 6/6 with armor. 8 glories for giving everybody frozen, right? Just as it was before, because the glacial blast here. Lightning vial, and now it's a token, right? It's not something that you can put in your deck. You have to use the Sparky above. Same thing, right? You pay 2 cost to deal 3 damage to a random enemy, and if it's lethal, you dust the unit. Archivist, that's a nice one, right? 4 cost, 2/4, and it gives your hero +1 health when you draw a spell. So lots of combability here. That's pretty cool. And it comes with the 2 cheap spells here, so you can make good use of it very, very quickly. Clash, my favorite card. I always screw myself up when I'm playing Clash, alright? What happens is you pay 6, both players draw a unit, and then those units fight themselves, right? And of course your hero gets the banner effect. So a bit of RNG can be amazing if you know what you're doing, or if you can somehow tutor the card that you want to play, but it can also screw yourself up, ask me. The Dragomantium, the chunky boys of Intellect are coming. Dragon themed, which is pretty cool, with the Sky key costing 10, 5, 10, guard unit, and when it dies, it gives your hero armor. So, another nice way of protecting your hero. Very nice, I like the illustration. Really like this one before. Yeah, Clash. Clash is not a new card. It's making a comeback. Definitely, it was present in the game before. But in the past, Clash would draw. You would draw a unit, the enemy would draw a unit, but you ready yours. Now, Clash forces them to fight each other. So, can be good, can be better, can be worse. Depends on your strategy. The Tempest Brew, also pretty cool, making a comeback. It was slightly different in the past. Spell costing 4, you draw 3 units of different elements, and each one of them gets zap. So, good way of activating Zam and the Archivist. But again, you might lose an important spell that they might carry. It's up to you. So the Web Weaver comes with the Mutate, Garden Wither, and at each sunset it gets +1 health. Now it's an Intellect card. Okay. Yeah, I like it. It's a bit more alien now. I like the abdomen very much. I think it's a nice spell. The Howlgeist is coming back. So coming back to Heart. Chains, alright, and when it dies, every enemy unit is hexed. And 666, the number of the Howlgeist, as we all know. And now we have Magnanimous, costing 7. It's also up the ramp here on Intellect. And 5/5, and as you summon, gives your hand and deck -1 cost. So, yikes. If you can play around with the summoning of Magnanimous, you can also do a lot of crazy deck reduction. Remember that not just your hand, it's your deck that gets cheaper, right? So keep that in mind. Yes, Web Weaver was a woman before. It has the torso of a woman. Now it's a bit more alien-like. Then we have Nessie, costing 5. Again, not a new card, but it was reallocated to Intellect. And when you summon it, you get your power equal to your mana. So, can be a chunky boy later on. The Lead Goblet, Intellect costing 2, give ally units +1/+1 and lead. So it can be very powerful depending on your opponent, right? So chunky. The Rage Cage is also making a comeback. Now it comes with flames, as usual. So now at least, since the flames, they don't wither, so it doesn't wither itself, which is good. It remains with 2 power. So nothing super new about the Rage Cage. The Octomage. The Octomage is weird, right? Because it costs 4 power, 4 health, and you draw 4 cost unit, but it's an Octomage. Should be a Tetramage, right? Even though it's an octopus. I think it's a serious flaw of theme here. Just kidding. So again, another great way of tutoring, of training cards into your hand. So definitely geared towards constructed. Dr. Vile has a problem. And costs 3 power, 2 health, lifesteal, and wither. And when it dies, you add 3 vials to both hands. So if you're smart, you can do some funky stuff with that, right? You can use this to accelerate your own game. If the enemy has 9 cards in his hand, might be a good way of clearing up 3 cards. So interesting possibilities here. Hannah also making a comeback on agility, costing 4, 3/2 stealth armor, and when you play her, you steal a target's attachment. So Hannah likes to play with everybody's attachments. So nice way of stealing fate or quest or something cool. Scooter, love the illustration. One of our turtle boys here. Costing 1, 0/2, armor and guard. And it comes... God damn, I forgot the name of the card. Can somebody tell me? I forgot. It's in the tip of my tongue. No, that's not sturdy. That's research. Exactly. That's research. Exactly. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Hypo. So, Scooter is a great card in the beginning of the game, right? It's a 0/2 tank with armor and guard. It's always annoying, right? There's no two ways around that. So, and it comes with a very decent spell. Spike Slam, like the illustration here. 5 cost intellect spell and does 4 damage to each unit, and then you return each killed unit to hand. So keep that in mind. It's very strategic. Might be a nice way to return strategically units to hand, or it might be a great way to deal a lot of damage but culling, not killing. Keep that in mind. Castus, good old Castus. I loved Castus. Castus is one of my favorite dragons in the game. 9/6/9, so chunky boy. Stealthy dragon, and when you summon Castus, you draw a mind spell onto Castus, and you give it -9 cost. So Castus can play a lot of decent effects right when it's summoned. So very, very powerful. That's a good point. Somebody was asking if Spike Slam would trigger death effects before the enemies were returned to hand. No. John is clarifying that no. There we go. And that's good. Because I'm not sure that it's good, right? But it's I can see the abuse going on, and I'm sure a lot of people were thinking in their heads how to abuse that. Then we have the trinket here. Another amazing air unit for intellect and stealth. And when you summon Trinketeer, you return your top dead 1 cost card to hand. So 1 cost card can be either a spell or a unit. It's Icaro's big bro. Or yeah, it's a boy. I thought it was maybe a girl, but yeah, it looks like an angel boy. So there you have it. And the Cloud Kid, 2 cost, 2 attack, 3 health, and when you summon, you give your left and right spells in hand -1 cost. So it's making a bit of a comeback now on intellect. I believe it was agility before. Might be wrong. Cyclone is also making a comeback for intellect. Return each player's front and back units to hand. So the rightmost and the leftmost stealth or normal units or guards to hand for both players. So keep that in mind. Cinder. Cinder is the poor man witch. So it's a little imp costing 1 intellect, stealth and wither, which is pretty cool. And on sunset it gets fireball. So late game you have a lot of incentive to really try to kill Cinder very fast, because yeah, Fireball's factory is not funny. Very, very cool card. Then we have the Deep Freeze that comes with our Frost Dragon. This is a Wisdom card here that gives target unit frozen, and then you do 1 damage to all enemies. Give it lead and move on. It's a good counter, definitely. Spiderella, yay! I'm so sad that Spiderella is not in Heart anymore. It comes with a Spell Blast here, and 7 to 8 cost, 2/8 health, Lifesteal and Wither, and one of the strongest glory effects in the game, in my opinion. If the enemy hero loses half their health round up. So it can be a really good way to deal with those extra healing decks. So invest decks and stuff like that. Spiderella can really chew through them very quickly if left unchecked. Barrier, yeah, sorry. Good. Timber. Nice illustration. I think it was, yeah, I remember seeing this illustration, but not with those particles here, but I might be wrong. So 6 cost unit, guard and lifesteal, and when it dies, it does 6 damage to the front enemy. So it's a good way to falling timbers on enemies' guards. And it's a 3/6, which is pretty chunky. It's an interesting, guard and lifesteal is always a very interesting combination. Yeah. Timber. Zapeta. Our good old Zapeta is also making a comeback on agility. Nothing changes, right? Come to the Zap, banner, lifesteal. And when you summon her, you draw a banner card, right? Good stuff. Jacko. Good old Jacko. 1 cost 2/2. It's a guard that whenever it dies, both heroes draw dark spells onto themselves. So can always be used offensively to overriding potions in the early game and stuff like that. The Wicked Twister is also making a comeback, the good old source of Hurricane. Now in strength, which I believe it wasn't the original Prism. John can tell me if not, but very, very useful. It is stealthy as usual, yeah. So the Steel Shield, another intellect unit costing 4, guard and armor. When it dies, give your hero buckler up. So it's a very, very annoying guard because 6 armor and guard, it's not easy to crack through. So especially early mid game. The Whipvine, costing 2 intellect. So it's a guard and wither unit, and when it dies, everybody gets rooted. It's an old favorite, now on intellect. The Boost Boots, that was agility for sure, I remember. It's now on intellect, costs 5. You ready and quest a target ally unit. Ooh-ha, that's a nasty little combo. Shrink Ray, really nice art. Costing 2 intellect spell, reduces target unit to half its power and health, rounded down. And if that's enough to bring the health to 0, you dust it. I like the dusting effect because it shrunk so much that there's nothing left behind. Nice. It's pretty powerful, costing just 2. It's a nice way to deal with the chunkier enemies. Really cool. I like it. En Fuego, for the Spanish speakers over there. En Fuego comes with the 3 lashes and costs 6, 3/5, so a mid roll here, like mid game and mid ramp, with armor and wither, and your spells have wither. Nice. And Fuego is really, really cool. And I like that it can instantly cast instantly, of course, if you pay 9, right? You can 3 lashes everybody with wither, which can be pretty annoying. Okay. And another fire card here, the Antimago. Good old Antimago, right? Glory, you set your enemy hero on fire. It comes with the mana burn. Nothing changed here, I think. Yeah, those are the original stats. So, good stuff. Krakos is also making a comeback. It's an old favorite. Costing 8 4 power, 8 health, Wither. And at each and every sunset, if you don't have mana, you do 2 damage. That's Withering also. To the front and back enemies, right? So, it's a nice slap. I'm not sure which spell is this one. I think it's one of the new ones. Let's see. Ivy. Good old Ivy. With the Entangle. Guard 1-3. Doesn't have the Wither anymore. Frankie also come back to Intellect. A good old favorite. So at each sunrise you dust your top 2 dead units to get +5 health. So yes, Frank. Hated by many, loved by few. Frank is one of the most annoying guards to deal with in the game. But again, it chooses units, right? So it's a relatively big cost in the game right now, going through your units like that. But yeah, if you can do that for 2 turns, it's a 5-15. So good luck with dealing with that without some specialized spells. Very beautiful art and composition here. I really like this one. The Clone Army. Intellect spell costs 2 metal. You add a metal copy of each ally unit to your deck. So keep that in mind. If you have a big board, you can clone everybody as a metal and send those to your deck. So the tutoring here is real, folks. Oh, Mother Ethereal is making a comeback. One of the most hated cards during the alpha. I love her dearly. I think it's an amazing little card. As it was, right? As she was before. 4 cost, 2/2, stealth, and each sunset it summons an Elder Wood for you. And then you get 2 Elder Woods here from the spell. Delightful, beautiful illustration. Love it. Screech, costing 3. You mulligan both hands, but the enemy draws 1 less. So it's a nice way of messing somebody that has been tutoring his hand quite a few times, and also removing 1 potential card from use. And finally, Harpex. Harpex comes with the Screech above, and it gets +1 power when the enemy draws a card. So you can see the combability here. Harpex is a nice big brain spell that big brain unit that I like quite a bit. Whew! All right, that was good. So we have a bunch of the new cards here. Then we have the changes here. So yeah, the Inner Beast is now Animosity. So that's the change here. Some renames, as John has mentioned in the beginning in the notes. You will see we had to do a few renames here to make sure theme and clarity they are respected. So Strike Shield is now Shield. Very, very simple. The Blessed Shield is now Barrier. Again, we have to get used to that. The Sprite Show, what happens here is now has a text. So now at each and every sunset it gets +1/+1 if you have no mana. So again, there's this nice connection between water cards and mana, either giving you mana or getting boosted when you don't have any. I like that quite a bit. And because of that it lost 1 health, which is pretty normal, and it has the capsize here. So the Quadra has lost 1 health. Rip Symmetry, but the win rate is too good. Yeah, Quadra without the 4/4/4 is definitely gonna appeal to the OCD out there. But yeah, it was way too good maybe. Yeah, no problem. I'm super stoked really to be able to come here and talk about intellect for you guys. As I am sure you can see, Philippe and John and Coulter, everybody else is also, they are also super happy because this has been long in the making, right? So, whew, it's nice to see the babies going over there. Yeah, now it's unplayable. Not 444. Now it's insta-ban. Gale. Sorry. Costing 3, 3, 4. So getting 1 extra power here. Elite Red is your hero. Comes with Shroud. Yeah. Gale seemed good to me, but the win rate suggests otherwise. So let's see if we can buff her. That's cool. Mushka. Good old Mushka. Comes with the Animosity. Now is a strength card from agility and it gets 1 extra attack power. Mid-range buff, plus I heard 4 cost units are bad, so that's not what Quadra says. But at any rate, now it's our new Quadra here, 444. The Gravekin, very pesky little unit, so it's a small tunning, now making it a bit more aggressive, which is cool. So the Banshee now has a change in keywords. Before it was just a stealth and wither unit. Now it's a stealth, lifesteal, and wither, which is very thematic. I like the general tone of this of her. My only regret is that she's not heart anymore. Quality of life buff for control, and this does manage to survive. Yeah, I really like Banshee. So Earth Warden gets a little bit of a nerf bet here. With too much health, now it's 5. Constricted Wisdom nerf. Who would say that a few patches ago, right? The Soul Shepherd now gets 1 extra power because it had a crappy win rate. Maybe because of the collected cost is like 10. It's a bit. It's a lot of mana. So there you have it. The Angler is losing its stealth. It's good. I think it's. Yeah, it was a relatively easy card to hide behind the guard with stealth and just keep on getting warrior spells onto it. So, yeah. Hypo saying, I wish Banshee didn't have Wither and gave -1 to get around armor. Say John. Yeah. It can't hide with the life bulb, with the light lure on top of its head. Philippe is always dispensing knowledge in the chat. It's always a pleasure. Saber now trading guard for lifesteal and losing 1 attack. It was a pretty potent card. It was a bit reworked here in John's opinion, which is cool. The friendly fawn is losing its lifesteal, so it also comes with a potent spell, so nerf that was hinted last week continued to perform well, so there you have it. Yeah, Saver of Supersonic was so spooky, yeah, definitely. The Bard Rock, one of my favorite cards here. Again, turning up, so now 644, which is pretty decent. Little Monkey approve of this buff. Seal of Doom. A bit of a nerf because it was doing a lot of good work. Before you would lose 2 maximum mana and then give everybody -8. Now same thing, but you give -7 to everyone, so it won't raise immediately all the big and mid boys as it did before. Okay, still quite potent, but a bit more on check here. Desire, now with a bit of a buff, power and health going up 1 point. Yeah, it's a strong spell that, because it favors the end of the game, it doesn't see a lot of use in Constructed, I think. Garuda is getting a bit of a rework. It was 6/6, now it's a 5/7. Yeah. Is it a buff? Should be a buff with more armored health potential. Yeah. Interesting. So the Grave Royal is now costing 10 and different text. So before it would dust your dead units and you do that much damage to a target unit, then you trigger everybody's death effects. Now you kill a target unit and then you do the same thing. You dust and units in your grave. I know it's completely different, sorry, it's not the same. So kill the target unit and then you dust units in your grave with death effects, but before that you trigger those death effects. Interesting. So now it kills someone and then dusts your units with this death effects and then it triggers them. Interesting. So now it's a removal effectively, right? Because of the kill target, and it's a bit more specialized because it won't dust everybody, just units with death effect. I think it's a good welcome change. Yeah, I like it. I think it's more versatile, and I think especially for discovery, this is much better because it was pretty punitive to play Grave Royal on discovery. Cool thing. So Volcanic Blast. It was a token, now it's an intellect card. It would dust your top dead fire card, should deal 3 damage to each unit, and then you dust another fire card to give each unit dazed. Now it does 2 damage to each unit, dust your top dead fire card to give enemies flames. So it's a redesign, completely different role, right? Before it would daze everybody, now it flames everybody, deals less damage, but it dusts less units from your graveyard, which is good. Alright, so the Fox Familiar, trading keywords here, lost stealth and gained guard, because of the quest, probably, right? Stealth and quest is pretty nasty, so I think this is more reasonable now. Scryer Spire. Before you would discard your hand and get that much mana, and then do that much damage to each unit. Draw that many cards. So that was as it was before. Now you discard all your hand, you get that number of discarded cards as mana, and then you give your hero that much health also, and you do that much that many points as damage to each unit, including yours, of course, and then you redraw your hand. It's interesting. It's a big brain card here, and I like that it's hard. It's a bit of a, probably our biggest description of the game so far. But yeah, very versatile, does a little bit of everything. I like it. So Bonfire Shaman was reworked, pretty much I think it's a buff because it's a 1 cost increase but 2 health gain. So now you might have more opportunities to play the fire, the +1 attack to your hero. Gemini, when you played Gemini, it would target unit copies that unit's power, health, keywords, and attachments. Now, when you play Gemini, you choose a target unit and then copies the unit's power and health, and you give it lead. Alright. So, fundamentally different from what it was before, right? Interesting. So the trade wins. Refreshen is asking, is the full release of the game announced yet? Not yet, right? We will definitely do, as you can see here, it's an enormous amount of new content for you guys to play, and we'll need some time to tweak it to make sure that Intellect is in a good spot, and we need John to give John and Coder some time so they can get some data and really study how Intellect and all the other prisms are performing. So no, not yet, but it shouldn't be long, right? This is one of the big things that we're missing for the launch. So we're checking another box tomorrow. Trade winds moving to Intellect. Boo. I liked it in heart, but I'll live. Fuji is now cheaper and with less health. And before it would give front enemy flames when it died, now it draws a fire spell onto your hero when it dies. And it comes with the eruption. Reworked so the effect has good synergy with the spell. Yeah, that's a good point. Nico is one of the most tweaked cards in the game ever. Let's see, now it has a text. Always appears in your opening hand selection. Oh, that's pretty sexy. I think it's the first card that can manipulate the mulligan. That's interesting. And now with a bit of extra health and losing the gear grind spell. That's super interesting. So basically, you guarantee if you have Nico in your deck, you guarantee a decent guard in the beginning of the game for you. That's pretty cool. No, it's freshened. Come on, no, that's absolutely not dumb. Today's stream is gonna be a bit longer than usual, so yeah, I don't expect everybody to stick here from beginning to end. Absolutely. If you have questions, please ask away. I'm here to help. No question is a dumb question, and I mean it. Tried and true. It's moving to wisdom from heart. Oh my god, John is ravaging my heart. That sounded so wrong. And now losing 1 power, so with a 3/2/3 now. Okay, poor heart. Blade Master moving to agility from strength and losing 1 health. Yeah, it was pretty good as a 4/4. Redwood is moving from strength to agility and losing 1 health also. So it's a bit of a nerfy nerf, and also a nerf to the crush. So there you have it. Death Ball, now agility, changing text. Before it would do 3 damage to target unit, and that if that was lethal, you give enemy heroes hex. Now it does 3 damage to target enemy unit, so it's a target enemy unit. You can't do that in your heroes anymore. You have to kill an enemy to curse the hero. So there you have it. Oceantium, costing a bit more now at 9. Nerfed in preparation for this to be legal as a standalone card. Yep, makes sense. It's an intellect spell. Yeah, the doubling cube renamed this thing twice, right? So now it's on intellect with a different art. Good old Motishi is being nerfed a bit because yes, it's ridiculously strong as it is, so even 6 might be a bit too much. Chromecast is now intellect, makes sense. Libra losing 2 health, so that's a sizable nerf, right? But again, 7 health and armor is no picnic. The gear grind, before it would mulligan your hand, draw a unit, and then give units in your hand -1 cost. Now it damages target unit equal to the size of your hand, and then mulligan your hand. So you basically use your deck to grind the target unit. Okay. Redesigned to be less like overclock. Yeah, that's okay. So we have a few shifts here in Prism. So Encapsulate moving to Intellect. Shogun moving to Strength from Wisdom. We have Shredder moving to Agility from Strength. Leonardo moving to Intellect from Wisdom. Charkran moving to Strength. Mighty Steed moving to Strength. Burb moving to Wisdom. Titanic moving to Strength. Hive moving to Intellect. No, I lost my Agility Hive. Curious moving to Intellect also. Rave is now again a Strength card, it's not a token anymore. Same applies for Ragnarok, which goes into Agility. Breaker Crab moving to Heart. Ooh, nice one. Drag Down, again, moving from token to Heart. Vlad moving from Heart to Agility. I can live with that. Spite and Malice moving from Heart to Wisdom. Shock Paw moving from Wisdom to Agility. Zomboid is now again a Strength card, not a token anymore. Nomad moving from Wisdom to Heart. Cool. Fury Mask moving from Strength to Agility. Skyweaver also Intellect. Searing Flames. It was Dual Flames when it was created. Now it's Searing Flames. I have to remember that. So it's Intellect now. It's a trap. Absolutely Intellect. Makes a lot of sense. Hoplite moving to Wisdom. Oh, that's a pretty big one. That's a pretty big change, actually. Cobalt moving to Intellect. Cool. Frigid Blizzard also moving to Intellect. Plethora from Heart to Intellect. Makes sense. Violet moving from Heart to Intellect also. Cross-reference also Intellect. Frost Adapt also Intellect. Tooth Hurdy, our beloved Tooth Hurdy, is moving from Agility to Intellect. And Volcanic Potion, also Intellect. And that's it. King Rex as the only removed card here. So everybody was complaining that whenever we had a patch, their decks would shrink. Now it will only shrink one card. And nothing more. Alright, so big one, right, folks? So I'm super happy. Truly happy. This is a big deal for us. Preparing ourselves for the challenges ahead. So Intellect is coming tomorrow. So keep an eye out on the chat here. We will announce it usually a bit later in the day, most likely, because it's a big change. John, Ari, and the rest of the gang, they are working a lot to make sure that this is ready for you guys. And that's it. So quick recap. Tomorrow we have Intellect. We have also announced that there's a big feature that I forgot to say in the beginning. We have a new matchmaking system now. Now we have a matchmaking system. We will have, of course, not tomorrow, right? This is for the near future, but this is something that's coming soon. A matchmaking system in which there will be a certain matching, right? You won't be just the first in line when you play a match. So this is pretty big, and this is being developed right now. So keep an eye out for that one. I don't know how I missed this one. This is also super exciting. And this is what makes competitive games competitive, right? And we have the leaderboard reset, and we have announced finally what will be the rewards for our pioneers here. The 500 top discovery and constructed players, they will receive a gold card, all right, which are tradable like silver cards, but they have a limited supply, so they will be pricier or not, depends on you, right? The economy is in your hands. So that's it. Thanks a lot for being here with me. It was 1 hour and a half of streaming. As you can see, I'm super happy. And if you have questions, we'll be there on Discord to answer them. So see you tomorrow, and I'm eager to see what you guys can do with Intellect. See you in Sky. Bye bye.